Whitney. And Barbara said, I'm going to sing a love song with Michael Jackson. 'Cause, you know, Barbara's tough, you know. She said, I could be old enough to be his mother.
And speaking of Michael Jackson,
Michael Jackson often appeared quiet and composed whenever he was in public. But once in a while, his sharp side showed up without warning. A simple question, a puzzled expression, or an unexpected moment was enough to shift the entire atmosphere. He never needed to raise his voice or act dramatic, and that calm approach made those moments even more entertaining.
Thriller, Off the Wall, incredible albums that you were a part of. What was that relationship, that working relationship, the musical relationship?
Everything looked completely normal until the topic of a music collaboration was mentioned. Michael's response instantly created an awkward but hilarious moment because it was obvious he had no interest in going along with the idea.
I think so.
What was your relationship like with Michael in more recent years?
Well, I think at one point he probably felt that I wasn't in touch with the market anymore. I'm being really honest now, because I remember when
Michael caught everyone off guard with his honest response about touring. He was expected to keep things upbeat, but his real feelings came out before anything else. His team quickly tried to smooth it over, but Michael had already revealed exactly what he thought.
we were doing bad, I had DMC in the studio because, you know, I could see what was coming with hip hop. I could see it. That's my gift. I can't drive, but I can see it a mile away.
Then came the moment when Michael playfully made Eddie Murphy seem like he was taking orders from him. Michael stayed completely relaxed, but the atmosphere said it all. Even Eddie, one of Hollywood's funniest stars, ended up going along with Michael's quiet command of the room.
My second scholarship was to Berklee School of Music in 1950. At that time, it was the Schillinger House, and two Russian mathematicians, Joseph Schillinger and Nicholas Slimonsky, had to prove.
One of Michael's funniest moments happened during a promotional appearance when he noticed the cameras were not filming from the angle he preferred. With a smile, he politely asked them to switch to a front view, joking that he looked better from the front than from the side. It was a playful reminder that Michael knew exactly how he wanted to appear on camera.
That in the mathematics and music, a lock like that. And it's always left brain and right brain. Very important, you know, because it means if you get into music and get your music down, the other subjects are easier. They actually are.
During another speech, Michael noticed that the cameramen were tracking his every move, and he decided to have a little fun with them. He gently shifted from side to side, watching the cameras hurry to keep up before flashing a smile at the audience. Without saying a word, he playfully teased the camera operators, turning a routine speech into a charming, hilarious moment that perfectly showed his mischievous sense of humor.
And your personality is going to finally not transcend that, but morph into its own personality, because it is a personality. And if you have traveled the roads of all the great people, but I think that happens with any.
Then came one of Michael Jackson's funniest unplanned savage moments when the audience suddenly went completely quiet. Rather than letting the awkward silence continue, he glanced around with a grin and playfully began applauding himself. The crowd instantly understood the joke and joined in with loud applause, transforming an uncomfortable pause into a genuinely hilarious moment.
Anything. If it's a cameraman, you know, you look at Serraro or whatever, you know, all your favorite people, and just deal with just the best, or like classical composers or whatever, or people that deal with drama, you know, with the elements of drama.
Even during legal depositions, Michael Jackson occasionally let his playful personality show. Instead of sticking to plain, routine answers, he would sometimes reply with clever comments or unexpected questions that caught the attorneys off guard. His calm manner and quiet sense of humor often put people on the spot without ever raising his voice, creating surprisingly funny moments in an otherwise serious setting.
But it's still the same thing as the art of trying to accompany a comedic or traumatic situation. I don't know, man.
Michael was known for his incredible generosity, and Chris Tucker discovered that even complimenting Michael's television could end with it being given away. But when Chris jokingly tried the same approach with a Rolls-Royce, Michael quickly made it clear that this time the answer was no.
I guess listen to what the best guys have done. That always works, you know. I mean, it's when we were kids with Bebop. We'd try to play like Miles, try to play like Charlie Parker, like Fats Navarro, and you.
Chris Tucker has shared some of the funniest stories about Michael, especially the time he took him to see a movie. What should have been a simple outing quickly turned into a comedy because Michael never went anywhere like an ordinary person. Even a casual trip to the theater became a memorable scene.
When I was showing him to keep the hip back, when you chamber the kick, and how, you know, you deliver it with more power if you keep the chamber back. He said, so, oh yeah, wow, because he was already committing his hip before.
Even Michael Jackson was not immune to those painfully dull moments at a wedding. As the boredom became more and more obvious, it created a hilariously relatable scene that fans quickly noticed and could not help laughing about.
Which, when you bring the knee up in the person's realm, they're ready for it. But when you bring your knee up back here, they can't see it. And so when you're accelerating the kick, they don't realize till half the kick is done, and they don't have time to respond to it. And that's exactly.
He may have been a worldwide superstar, but Michael still enjoyed a little gossip just like anyone else. Seeing him lean in to hear the latest details makes the moment so funny because it reminds everyone how relatable he could be. For that brief moment, he is not the king of pop. He is simply someone curious to know what happened.
How did it came about?
Well, why was Madonna not on the song? Because at the time, Madonna was like the equivalent of a Michael Jackson on the female side, right?
Yeah.
The biggest female artist in the world.
Exactly. Michael changed his mind. He changed.
When Eddie talked about having dinner at Michael's house, it sounded like an ordinary celebrity visit at first. But with giraffes, chimps, bubbles, and Neverland all part of the experience, it quickly became something extraordinary. Eddie had already seen Hollywood luxury, yet Michael's world still felt like a place only he could have created.
His mind, and how he got away with it was he sent me to Madonna's house.
Okay.
When I went to Madonna's house, I mean, it's after the non-disclosure. She showed me the house. She took me.
Meanwhile, Mike Tyson admitted that he disliked Michael Jackson for years, and it all began with one awkward first meeting. Michael reacted as if he had no idea who the heavyweight champion was, and Tyson said that was something he never forgot.
And I used to give him a hard time about the chemical peels and everything else, and he always would tell me things like, I have a blister on my lungs and all those kinds of things, and I swear.
Michael behaved as though he did not recognize the heavyweight champion, and Tyson never forgot that encounter. The brief moment stayed with him because he was not accustomed to being overlooked or ignored.
I've got this disease and so forth, and it's getting chemical peels and everything, and I don't know, in a way it was in denial. He wanted to look different, you know, and I guess that's a sort of a self.
Michael did not respond the way everyone else usually did, and it completely caught Tyson by surprise. Tyson ended up holding on to a grudge over that single interaction, making the story even more amusing in hindsight.
And Whitney, and Barbara said, I'm going to sing a love song with Michael Jackson, because, you know, Barbara's tough, you know. She said, I could be old enough to be his mother.
And speaking of Michael Jackson,
At the Grammys, that playful sibling rivalry comes through in a hilarious way. No matter how famous someone becomes, family dynamics never really disappear. Even with Michael standing on one of the world's biggest stages, that familiar brother and sister energy still manages to shine through.